Have you ever wondered how to make a man fall in love so deeply that he surrenders his heart to you without even needing to touch his body? I've heard this question from countless women in their 50s, 60s and beyond. Women who've spent years searching for a love that's real, a love that doesn't just skim the surface but reaches into the very depths of the soul, a love that feels timeless, like a quiet melody that plays on in your heart, no matter how many years pass. I've explored the wisdom of Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychologist who understood the psychology of love like few others, and I've discovered a truth that can transform the way you connect, a truth that says the deepest love begins not with the physical, but with the mind, through a resonance so subtle, so powerful, that it awakens a man's emotions in ways he can't resist, leaving him longing for you in a way that feels eternal. For those of us in our middle years, building this kind of deep love connection isn't just a dream. It's a path to a life of meaning and peace, a way to experience a love that's not fleeting, but profound, a love that brings joy and fulfillment, even as time moves on. In this video, I'll share Carl Jung's insights on love psychology, showing you how to touch a man's mind in ways that make him surrender to love, through 3 simple yet powerful ways that spark a connection so deep, he'll feel drawn to you like never before, and I'll reveal the secret to attracting love deeply, a secret that lies in the beauty of your authentic self, a secret that can change everything if you embrace it fully. Let's start by exploring the power of emotional connection through the mind, the place where deep love truly begins. To make a man surrender to love, to create a bond that feels so deep he can't help but be drawn to you, we need to move beyond the surface, beyond the physical, and into the realm of the mind, where the most profound connections are formed, where emotions come alive in ways that nothing else can touch. Carl Jung understood this better than most. He taught us that love isn't just about what we see or touch. It's about what we feel in the hidden corners of our hearts. It's about a resonance, a vibration that begins in the mind and echoes through the soul, awakening a man's deepest emotions, emotions he may not even know he's capable of feeling until you come along. Jung believed that the mind is where love takes root, where a woman's energy, her presence, can spark a connection that feels like magic, a connection that goes beyond words, beyond logic, and speaks directly to a man's heart, stirring feelings of longing, tenderness, and a desire to be truly seen, to be truly loved in a way that feels timeless, like a melody that plays softly but never fades. This kind of emotional connection isn't about physical attraction. It's about touching something deeper, something that makes a man feel understood, cherished, and safe in a way he's never felt before. It's about creating a deep love, connection that resonates on a level he can't ignore, a connection that makes him surrender, not because he has to, but because he wants to, because you've reached into his mind and touched his soul in a way nothing else can. Carl Jung's love psychology shows us that when a woman focuses on this inner connection, when she learns to speak to a man's mind rather than his body, she unlocks a power that's both subtle and profound, a power that can attract love deeply, a power that can change everything. So let's reflect for a moment. Have you ever felt a connection with someone that seemed to go beyond the physical? A moment where you sensed you'd touched their heart in a way you couldn't explain. Now let's talk about the first way to touch his mind, using evocative language, a way of speaking that holds incredible power. The words you choose can do so much more than simply communicate. They can paint pictures in a man's mind, pictures that linger long after you've spoken, igniting emotions he didn't even know he could feel. And this is where the magic begins. in the space where his imagination takes over, drawing him closer to you without you ever needing to say too much. Carl Jung believed that the mind is like a canvas, and the right words can create a vibration, a resonance that stirs a man's deepest desires, making him feel a connection that's both mysterious and undeniable. A connection that pulls him in, not because you've told him how you feel, but because you've let him imagine it for himself. Instead of saying something direct, like, "I'm so into you," try using evocative language that hints at your emotions, leaving space for his mind to wander. For example, you might say, "There's something about you that makes me think of things I shouldn't." And let the words hang in the air. Let them spark his curiosity. Let them awaken his imagination. So he starts to wonder, to feel, to crave the unspoken meaning behind your words. This kind of language isn't about being blunt. It's about being suggestive. It's about planting a seed in his mind that grows into a longing he can't ignore. A longing that makes him feel a deep love connection. A longing that makes him want to surrender to the emotions you've stirred within him. Carl Jung's love psychology tells us that when you use words that evoke images, that hint at feelings without spelling them out, you create a kind of magic, a magic that reaches into a man's soul, making him feel seen, desired, and understood, in a way that feels effortless yet profound. It's one of the simplest love connection tips, but also one of the most powerful. By using evocative language, you're not just speaking to him, you're inviting him to feel, to imagine, to connect with you on a level that's deeper than words, a level that can attract love deeply, a level that can change the way he sees you forever. Can you imagine the power of a single sentence that leaves him thinking about you long after you've spoken? Let's explore another secret, the power of silence, but not just any silence, a silence that's full of mystery. You've learned how evocative language can paint pictures in a man's mind, planting seeds of emotion that grow into a deep longing. But now imagine adding a layer of magic to that moment, a layer that doesn't come from words, but from what you don't say. From the quiet spaces that speak louder than anything you could ever voice, drawing him in with an allure he can't resist. Carl Jung believed that silence is a language of its own, a kind of invisible energy that speaks directly to the unconscious. It's not about being distant or cold, it's about creating a space where mystery can grow, where a man's curiosity can flourish, where his mind starts to wander, imagining what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what lies beneath the surface of your quiet presence. Picture this. You've just said something evocative, something that hints at your emotions, like, "Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to get lost in someone like you." And then, instead of saying more, you pause. You hold his gaze. You let the silence stretch between you. A silence that's charged with possibility, a silence that makes his heart race. Because in that moment, he's not just hearing you, he's feeling you. He's imagining all the things you haven't said, all the emotions you might be holding back. This kind of silence isn't about playing games, it's about creating a deep love connection. It's about giving him space to feel, to wonder, to desire, in a way that words alone can't achieve. It's about letting the unspoken speak louder than anything you could say, drawing him in with the allure of the unknown. Carl Jung's love psychology shows us that when you use silence this way, you tap into a man's unconscious, you awaken his desire to explore, to connect, to surrender to the emotions you've stirred, because the mystery you create makes him feel a longing he can't resist. A longing that makes him want to know you more, to feel you more, to love you more deeply. It's one of the most effective love connection tips, Because it's not about what you do, it's about what you hold back. It's about the space you create for his imagination to take over. A space where he can attract love deeply. A space where he can surrender to the connection you've built. Have you ever noticed how a moment of silence can say more than 1,000 words, drawing someone closer without even trying? Now, let's uncover the final secret. A way to ignite desire through a feeling I call almost. A feeling he'll never forget. We've explored how evocative language can paint pictures in a man's mind, and how silence can weave a sense of mystery that draws him in. Still, there's one more way to touch his heart so deeply that he'll surrender to love. And it's all about creating a moment that's so close, yet just out of reach. A moment that leaves him longing for you in a way that feels both thrilling and tender. A moment that keeps him coming back for more. Carl Jung taught us that desire is born in the space between what we have and what we crave. It's like standing at the edge of a doorway, knowing that something beautiful waits on the other side, but not quite stepping through. That tension, that anticipation, is what fuels a man's imagination, making him ache for you in a way that deepens the connection between you, in a way that makes him feel a love he can't ignore. Picture this. You're sitting close to him, the air between you charged with emotion. He's waiting for a kiss, expecting that moment of closeness, but instead, you lean in, whisper something evocative in his ear like, "I wonder what you'd do if I got just a little closer." Then you pull back with a subtle, mysterious smile, leaving him hanging in that almost moment, where his heart races, his mind spins, and his desire for you grows stronger than ever. This almost feeling isn't about teasing. It's about creating a deep love connection. It's about giving him just enough to feel the pull, but not enough to satisfy it, so his imagination takes over, filling in the gaps with his own longing, his own emotions, his own dreams of what could be between you. Carl Jung's love psychology tells us that this kind of tension is like a doorway to the unconscious. It awakens a man's deepest desires, making him feel a connection that's not just physical, but emotional. A connection that makes him surrender to love because the longing you've ignited feels so real, so powerful, that he can't help but be drawn to you, wanting to close that gap, wanting to feel you fully. It's a simple love connection tip, but one that can attract love deeply, because it taps into the beauty of anticipation, the beauty of desire, the beauty of a connection that grows stronger with every moment of waiting. Can you feel the electricity of an almost moment, where the air between you felt alive with possibility? To make these secrets truly work, there's one thing you need to do first, and that's to live authentically and love yourself, the most powerful thing you can do. We've uncovered 3 beautiful ways to touch a man's mind, using evocative language, a silence full of mystery, and the almost feeling that ignites desire. Each one a piece of the puzzle that builds a connection so deep that it makes him surrender to love. But there's a secret that ties them all together, a secret that makes these ways come alive. And it's not about the techniques themselves, it's about the energy you bring to them. An energy that flows from living as your true self, from loving yourself so deeply that your presence becomes a magnet, drawing him in without even trying. Carl Jung believed that authenticity is the most powerful energy a woman can embody. When you live as your true self, when you embrace your own worth, your own beauty, your own strength, you radiate a kind of light that speaks directly to a man's soul. A light that makes him feel safe, seen and loved in a way that feels effortless. A light that makes him want to surrender, not out of obligation but out of awe. because he's never felt a connection so real, so pure, so deep. When you love yourself, when you set boundaries that honor your own heart, you become like a melody he can't stop hearing. A melody that resonates with his unconscious, awakening his desire to connect, to love, to be part of your world. Because your authenticity isn't just attractive, it's transformative. It's the kind of energy that makes him see you as a reflection of his own deepest longings. A reflection he can't resist. Carl Jung's love psychology shows us that authentic love isn't about trying to be someone you're not. It's about being fully you, fully whole, fully free. And when you live this way, you attract love deeply because you're not chasing it, you're inviting it. You're creating a space where a man can feel safe to open his heart, to surrender to the emotions you've awakened, to love you in a way that feels timeless, like a bond that transcends the ordinary. This is the true power of self-love. It's not selfish, it's sacred. It's the foundation of every deep connection. The key to making these ways feel natural, not forced. Because when you love yourself, you don't need to try to be loved. You simply are. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Have you ever felt the confidence that comes from loving yourself fully, the kind that draws others to you without effort? Let's finish with a deeper look at love. A love that's deep and true. A love that begins with a soulful connection. We've journeyed through the art of touching a man's mind, discovering 3 beautiful ways to create a bond so deep that he can't help but surrender to love, using evocative language to paint pictures in his imagination, a silence full of mystery to draw him in, and the almost feeling to ignite a desire that keeps him longing for you. Each one a thread in the tapestry of a connection that reaches far beyond the physical, a connection that touches his soul and stays there, like a melody that never fades. Carl Jung's love psychology has shown us that the deepest love isn't about the body, it's about the mind. It's about awakening emotions that a man may not even know he's capable of feeling. Emotions that make him see you as a reflection of his own longing, a reflection he can't resist, a reflection that makes him surrender, not because he has to, but because he wants to, because the connection you've created feels so real, so profound, that it changes him forever. And the secret to making this all work lies in your authenticity, in the way you love yourself, the way you live as your true self. Because when you embrace your own worth, when you set boundaries that honor your heart, you attract love deeply. You create a deep love connection that's not just fleeting, but lasting. A connection that brings peace, joy, and meaning to both your lives. A connection that feels timeless, like a dance between 2 souls that never ends. Carl Jung taught us that love is a reflection of the soul. And when you live authentically, when you love from a place of wholeness, you invite a man to do the same, to meet you in a space where you can both be real, be vulnerable, be free, and that's what makes love truly deep, truly unshakable, truly yours. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever used one of these ways to create a connection that felt magical? A moment where you sensed a man's heart opening to you? If this video touched your soul, please give it a like. Subscribe to Ageless Philosophies and share it with someone who might need to hear this today, because you deserve a deep love, a love that's real, a love that begins with a soulful connection. And I'm here to support you on that journey, cheering you on as you embrace your truth and open your heart to the love you've always deserved.